Or he tries to look like wrestling, which is looks a bit rainy, I'm not gonna lie. Right. Where's Lee?
Who's carrying the maps?
Day 1, day 2. I'll take them up.
You'll take the maps?
Yeah.
You're
Right.
taking Doug as well,
Take
Charlie.
maps?
Yeah.
You can have Doug.
I can't remember. I saw it put it in the end.
Oh yeah.
E12.
But you wouldn't want
Yeah.
You.
So, you've got the 2 compasses,
Yeah.
you've got your maps,
Yeah.
you've got your tip kit, your water purification kit, you've got your books, you've got your route cards,
Got Doug.
got Doug.
Right.
Did not give me
This is
consent.
going to
When the wind blows, then I will rock.
No.
Yeah? And he survives. How much time?
Charlie.
Is that it?
To the, no. To the third time, you're like this with the physics show.
Well, we're back down on Dartmoor for this year's Golds. We've got 2 groups going out this year with 14 pupils, and we've woken up to an absolutely glorious morning. It's quite cold and really frosty, but I think the weather's going to be fantastic and I think they're going to have a great day.
We had a breeze.
Okay, so there go the boys group, and they're off going east across the moor. We'll catch up with them later today. So here come what I call the girls group, but Ollie's in it as well, just starting their walk, and they're off up onto North Hessery and then north onto the moor.
This is our limited, it's not hard.
So there goes one of the groups on its way from North Hessery Tor, and they're working their way past Fitzwell and then right up to Great Mistall. Absolutely stunning day for a walk. And there's where they'll be heading off to a little bit later today, Great Mistall up on the horizon. And you can see just to the left of it Little Miss, which I always think looks like a tiny little castle just below it. And hopefully they'll find the Devil's Frying Pan on top. And here's a Devil's Frying Pan, but not on Great Mistall, but up near Redleston where I am at the moment. There's no water in it, but you can see where the freeze thaw action has sort of dug out a little saucepan shape in the top of the rock. So there in the middle of the frame, right in the distance, is the group carrying on its way to Fitzwell, whatever you want to call it, and then heading off up to Great Mistall. Anybody who knows Dartmoor at all will know the North Hessery radio mast, and it's a great marker for when you're a little bit lost. You can always tell where Princetown is by seeing the radio mast. Often the bottom of it's in cloud and the top pokes out because it's so high.
Slightly windy here, isn't it?
So there's the girl and Ollie's group heading off, ready for their next D365 square. So up at Great Mistall, if you can hear me over the wind, and this is baby Barry's first square. So here come the all boys group, and they're at Dunnabridge Pound now, absolutely bang on their route card timing, so they're doing really, really well.
Everyone need a refill drink again. Nah, it's the river there.
So the groups have made it into their wild campsite at Bear Down Farm. I think they're going to have a cold evening actually, because it's pretty chilly out here now. It's getting on for about 5 o'clock, so they haven't got much daylight left, but hopefully they'll finish getting their tents up, get cooking and get a good night's sleep, and we'll see them out walking tomorrow. So a lovely little campsite this, and right next to the third bridge in 2 bridges, just up in a field up the track on the way to Bear Down Farm.
You're spilling it. Can you do the gas? Oh, you missed.
Well, we've woken up on the second day to a really cold morning again, and a thick hoarfrost all over the ground. The vehicle's covered in ice at the moment and we'll have to scrape that off. So we're going to go off and see how the groups got on today, and by the time we get there they should be packing up and ready to go on what looks like a lovely clear day. So the sun's rising just onto their tents at the moment, and it's looking like it's going to be an absolutely glorious day, but a very cold start. So I thought I'd say a bit about the group's aim. They're doing an exploration which is slightly different from an expedition in that they spend more time looking at the land they're passing through. Now, Dartmoor National Park happens to be 365 square miles in size, and this book by John Hayward indicates an interesting thing in each one of those squares. They've also got our Ordnance Survey map with the squares overprinted on it. So their route will pass through a number of the squares in the book, and the idea is that they'll look up in the book what's interesting about that feature. It could be a stone circle or an old grave, and they can then take a photograph of that and post it on our Dartmoor 365 Facebook page. I guess the idea is by the end of their exploration, instead of just passing through the moor with backpacks on, they would have taken some time to find out a little bit more about the interesting features and the folklore of this area, and hopefully they'll return home knowing rather more about Dartmoor than most people would if they just walked through it. So here come group 2, and they're in fine fettle. Very strong group, and they've just come off the moor and are cracking on with their route for the rest of the day. So the moor's bathed in beautiful evening sunlight, and I'm travelling off now to see group 2, that's the girls and Ollie, to see how they're getting on at their wild campsite at Wrekin College Gold.
almost look so stupid. No, too far. I haven't actually tasted the stream water. No.
But yesterday she ate it with a spoon.
Because it was dirty and I was like, you know what, if
It's
one
nice with
side...
a sauce like that though.
Well, it's another lovely day on the moor this morning, and we've woken up to beautiful and warm sunshine. None of the frost and ice we've had on previous mornings, so I guess the groups have had a slightly warmer night and a better time to be out in the morning cooking their breakfast. We'll catch up with them fairly soon, and then they're off out into the open moor, so we probably won't see much of them until later tonight. So here are Group 2, exactly on their route card timings, heading into Post Bridge, and then they're going to head off north to Teeniver Clapper Bridge for their campsite tonight. So we've met up with the boys group. The weather's changed a little bit. They're at Shilston Tor and not far to go now. They've got to go a couple of k further north to some stream junctions, and they're going to set up camp for the night, and that's their last night, with tomorrow being their final day. So here come the boys on their way off to their last night's camping place. So it's another beautiful morning on the moor this morning, and the sun's out and the air's warming up. It's just as well because it was an incredibly wet night last night. It was absolutely lashing it down, so I hope the groups aren't too wet. We're going to head off onto the North Moor now to catch up with them, and they're going to finish their expedition near Oakhampton Camp at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So it's been a lovely dry day, and both groups have made it off the moor to just above Oakhampton Camp. And now's the time to take various bits of kit off them, get them in the minibuses, and I bet they're all waiting for a shower and some hot food to eat. But it's been a very successful expedition all round.
Highlight probably getting great feedback on the Facebook group. Lots of comments, lots of likes, yeah. But to improve, I'd probably take my own towel because I think we used all of ours. Yes. Yeah. So.
Just I enjoyed the 365 ink, and I like doing all the drawings.
My highlight was probably Alex falling in the bowl.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Well, it's another freezing morning on the moor, but the groups will have had a warm night as they were in the bunkhouse. All that remains is for them to get a hearty breakfast, to get on the minibuses and to return back to Wrekin, having finished the expedition phase of their Gold Award.
I tried to get